Seeing that there is no board comments, we will now move to public comment. Again, I just remind you to adhere to the 3-minute time limit. Sir? 1 second, please. Senator? Good morning, Senator. If you would like to share some words prior. There's a button to turn the mic on right there.
Okay, thank you so very much. Good morning to each and every one of you, to the members of the audience, to members of the Contractor State License Board. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to share a few words with each and every one of you. My name is Kevin DeLeon, California State President Pro Tem, Pore Emeritus, and again, I want to just emphasize the thank you for allowing me this opportunity. Just recently, California became the largest economy in the world to legally commit to decarbonizing our electrical grid. 100% renewable and clean energy with my measure, Senate Bill 100. That puts California, our home state, on a pathway towards a clean energy economy by the year 2045. Now, to put this in context, the naysayers, the critics, the predictors of doomsday, and very powerful political special interests who tried to derail this measure said, in fact, it would destroy our economy, that we would, in fact, raise utility rates, and in fact, that we would have unemployment rise in California. But I think that we have proven otherwise. We have successfully delinked and we have decoupled carbon from GDP. What we have done in California to date is we have dramatically lowered our greenhouse gas emissions and other criteria pollutants that our children breathe into our lungs every single day. At the same time, we actually have grown this economy. Now, be mindful that we just got off the worst economic recession since 1929. And if it wasn't for the policies that we move forward at the state level, if it wasn't for the policies that we move forward at the state level, we would not be today the 5th largest economy on planet Earth. Now, to put this in context, there's only 4 economies larger than that of the United States of California. The United States of America in the aggregate, China, Japan, Germany, and it is our great state, the state of California. United Kingdom, France, India, Italy, and Vladimir Putin's Russia is at number 10. So that is because of the clean energy policies that we have moved forward. Now, without a doubt, our clean energy future will rely on battery energy storage systems to augment and improve the efficacy, the efficiency of solar, wind, and other clean energy technologies that are now legally mandated. That's why I think it's absolutely vital, it's absolutely imperative that we protect the public by ensuring California feels very confident with the installation of battery energy systems in both their homes, as well as schools, as well as workplaces. It's absolutely vital that we get this right, that we don't derail our incredible progress. Now, my goal was fourfold when I moved these policies. Number one, obviously, to tackle greenhouse gas emissions, reduce our GHG, carbon dioxide emissions, which is atmospheric, reduce also utility rates, clean up our air for our children, and also to provide good paying jobs to grow this economy. If our clean energy goals are to be secured, they have to provide good jobs with good wages. Now, Senate Bill 350 was a comprehensive clean energy and climate measure that updated and expanded the state's very successful RPS, Renewable Portfolio Standard. Some folks may not recall, but back 20 years ago, folks said that we would be crazy to do an RPS in California, that again, we would destroy this economy. We went from 0 to 20%, then from 20% to 33%. And I took it from 33 to 50%, and now, as we know, 50 to 100%. And just recently, I spoke a few days ago with the governor of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan. She will put pen to paper on New Mexico's 100% RPS, decarbonizing their grid, being the third state in America to commit itself legally, statutorily, to 100% clean energy. Jay Inslee, my friend in Washington State, Minnesota, Massachusetts, as well as New York. They are following California's lead right now. That's why it's imperative that we get this right in a great state like ours. Obviously, with the RPS, we're doubling down on our energy efficiency and moving towards transportation electrification. But the bill also promoted energy storage and other distributed energy options. In Senate Bill 350, I did amend the Public Resources Code to ensure that new investments and employment associated with those new energy efficiency investments be undertaken in a manner that promotes highly trained jobs. That's a basic premise of any and all clean energy and climate legislation I authored during my time as legislator. One thing I want to underscore, this is about growing the middle class and making sure we have highly trained individuals. I know this may be a somewhat polemic situation right now between the C10s and C46s. And without picking winners or losers, it's very clear that my vision was to make sure that those individuals who do this job to implement our energy goals for California are highly trained individuals. Because any type of safety issues may roll us back. Because we have very powerful political interests today who are still attempting to roll back our policies in the great state of California. We all know what's happening in Washington, D.C. That's why we are California, because we're exporting our values nationwide. Now, I'll conclude right now in just one quick second, but again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to share a few opinions. The Public Resources Code, as amended by my measure, Senate Bill 350, directs the California Energy Commission. The CEC and my friends there are looking towards you for direction on this issue as they move forward with their regulatory schemes. They want to adopt a responsible contractor policy that ensures installers and construction jobs that receive any type of funding that are part of Senate Bill 350 to meet the test for employees and contractors. If we are truly committed to a clean energy economy that also provides economic and job dividends for our communities, it is essential that our state agencies adopt and enforce these policies. Therefore, I express my intent as the author of Senate Bill 350 for the implementation of this provision in a manner that ensures good, high-wage, highly trained, skilled workers to implement and execute these policies set forth by the legislative branch and signed by the executive branch, then Governor Jerry Brown. You all have a major responsibility that is before you to ensure that the most qualified individuals are tasked with installing battery energy storage systems. And the bottom line is this: we need them to be highly trained, the most highly trained workers in California, so we can grow the middle class and we can continue to grow this economy. When the board enacts these regulations, it is my hope that they will move forward with option 3 that is before you, that is a staff recommendation. That is my vision for this state of California as we move forward with Senate Bill 350. I thank you very much to all members of this board for the opportunity that you have given me today to share a few words with each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Trust me, I've been at the end of the sharp tip of the spear on very highly polemic and polarizing issues. This is very easy compared to what I've been through. Trust me on this right there. But nonetheless, I respect the role that you play in giving service to the state of California as appointees, wherever you may lie on this issue. Nonetheless, I wanted to give my opinion on this issue as the author of Senate Bill 350. I thank you very much for your consideration. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. Again, for those of you that are standing in the back blocking the entrance exit, there is additional space over here. Please move forward and off to the side. Is our highway patrol officer back there somewhere? Can you please assist? Thank you. They don't want to listen to me. Now for public comment.
Should we start?
Go ahead, sir.
Hello, Chairman and members. My name is Scott Wetch, and I'm here today on behalf of the California Coalition of Utility Employees. My association represents 65,000 utility workers at all 3 of the investor-owned utilities, as well as all of the major municipally owned utilities. I'd like to point out that all 3 of the investor-owned utilities, Edison, PG&E, and Sempra, have submitted letters supporting the move to allow only C10 contractors to install energy storage systems because they share my members' concerns. Our concerns fall into 3 areas. The first and foremost is we have experienced situations where our crews are out in inclement weather when there's a power outage, where they're going to inspect a line that they believe has been de-energized at the source, and they've come upon it and had backfeed occur from an improperly installed storage system. This is a life and death situation. We will have a serious injury or death as a result of improperly installed storage systems. Improperly installed storage systems also can very easily cause fires. This is a safety issue that we have seen time and time again. I'll remind the board that the Tubbs fire in Santa Rosa, according to the state fire marshal, was caused by an improperly installed electrical system on a private landowners. It wasn't a storage system in that instance, but it was the same issue. You had a non-trained, non-certified electrician installing a distribution system on private property from some pumps to an outbuilding, and that's what caused the devastating fire in Santa Rosa. And then lastly, a more common and more pedestrian issue, but one that we see, is that improperly installed storage systems can very easily bring down an entire distribution circuit. So you could have one improperly installed storage system bring down the power to 100, 500, 1,000, 4,000, 5,000 customers. Something that we deal with at the utilities. The utilities don't have a stake in C10, C46. PG&E, Sempra, Edison, they're not contractors. I don't represent a single employee at the Coalition of California Utility Employees that works for a contractor. This is about safety. Please do the right thing and approve Mr. Diaz's motion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Members of the board, thank you for your time. My name is Donald Simon. I'm a partner at the law firm of Wendell Rosen, Black & Dean, and I have been the outside general counsel for the California Solar and Storage Association for the past 10 years. I've represented all aspects of the solar industry over the last 20 years. Let me begin by saying that people don't call their lawyers when times are good. They call when problems happen. And in 20 years, I've never received a single call reporting any type of incident that we are hearing is going to occur, but the evidence shows has not occurred at all. This is the latest in a 25-year effort by the electricians to take over solar contracting work. You will hear some of those examples coming up with the speakers that follow me. But by far, this is their most audacious attempt yet, because they are trying to invoke this regulatory body to violate the law by adopting a regulation that has no foundation in fact and would instead be arbitrary and capricious. But it doesn't stop there. If this board makes the decision today or eventually to preclude C46s for performing this work, you will put the C46s out of business and tens of thousands of their solar installers along with them, who will not be able to simply go get work at a C10, because as was pointed out, to work for a C10, you must be a certified electrician. Here's the reality. There is no safety concern. The report, very significant report, reported that OSHA had 0 accidents involving storage. CSLB's 21,000 complaints that they got last year, 0 involved solar storage. The survey that was done and is discussed in the report from Calbo shows that there were no reported injuries regarding solar. And in fact, if you look at the data further, the C46s are more qualified than the C10s. The report says that, well, you might want to consider some math. The report says that 49% of the reported code violations were associated with C46s and 39% with the C10s. Makes it sound like the C46s are a little bit more dangerous in that regard. But that does not take into account who installed the vast majority of the systems. We have data from the state of California that shows that 86% of the more than 3,000 solar storage systems that have been installed were installed by C46s, only 14% by C10s. That same stat bears out in who installs the photovoltaic systems around the state. 90% by C46s, less than 10 by C10s. When you take that into consideration, what you find is that using the CalBO's own survey is that the C10s are 5 times more likely to have caused the code violations and 9 times more likely to have caused the incidents involving property damage. Safety is a red
20
herring
seconds.
intended to deceive you into enabling them to take over the solar market. They tell you that this is just about storage. It is not, and let me explain why. Storage is becoming increasingly imperative for solar systems to make any financial sense because of recent changes in the law.
Thank you,
that the-
sir. Your 3 minutes is up.
Very good.
Morning.
Hello, my name is Don Hughes. I'm going to give you a little bit more creds than anything else. I'm retired. I live on an island in Florida. I didn't get any sleep last night. I really have a lot of passion for this. I'm former chief electrical inspector for Stanford University. I'm former STP member for all of the solar PV standards and all of the energy storage standards. I wrote the book on permitting and inspection compliance in this country. I drafted the inspection checklist that's sitting at the CPUC right now. I drafted the solar model inspection checklist that's at the Department of Energy. I've served as an advisor to the Department of Energy, California Energy Commission, Interstate Renewable Energy Council. I know some of you, and this is not okay. This is a safety issue. I'm just going to touch on who is qualified. The National Electrical Code already dictates who is qualified, and they say that a qualified individual who has the training. All this talk that we're hearing from the electrical industry, I'm an electrician. I'm a former IBEW member. I'm passionate about this because this hurts for me to have to come here from Florida to do this to my friends, my friend Mustafa. But this is wrong. There is absolutely no training right now for any C10s or certified electricians to know anything about energy storage. Currently, the California is on the 2014 NEC. Training is dictated by NFP 70E 2012, if you look at the informational notes in Article 100 of the definitions under qualified individual, okay? So currently, there is absolutely no mandate for any electrician, any C10 to have that training. It's not in the code books. The only thing that's in that current code book is battery storage, which only talks about flooded lead acid batteries. There is nothing. Energy storage does not come into play until 2017. As recent as 2016, the NFPA sat down, drafted a bunch of changes that are going to be in the 2017, and that's not coming until we adopt the 2017. So all these people that say that they're properly trained and they are not. There's no correlation between certification and C10 to have any of that training. To be a certified electrician, all you need to do is have a specific time in trade, and then you have to go and take the test. Most of my friends that I know that took that test go to a course that says, pay me $495 and you a 100% guarantee pass. And they do. They learn the tests. These courses go to the tests. They learn the answers, and these people go and get those answers. I'm not saying there are not qualified electricians out there. There are. They're union guys, but to simply say that by virtue of having a C10, you're more qualified, you're not. I was the chief electrical inspector for Stanford University in Santa Clara County from 2000 until 2015, and I had San Lorenzo Valley and Santa Cruz Mountains. All those mountains are covered with off-grid systems that I saw over 20 years, and almost all of them were installed by solar contractors, not electricians. I knew nothing. I was an electrician since 1984 until now, 35 years. I knew nothing about solar PV until the solar PV industry taught me everything I know and taught me that I had to educate myself. So I became the leading authority in the United States on PV.
Your time is up.
This is wrong, don't do it.
Excuse me, before you start, we have 2 exits in the back. Please don't block the pathways to those 2 exits, and don't block this exit over here. That's all I'm asking. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for letting us talk here. My name is Captain Richard Burt. I'm a Las Vegas firefighter captain. I've lived off the grid for 13 years. I've been involved in the solar industry, testing it for firefighting tactics and strategies, and I teach all over the country thousands of firefighters. More importantly, I've taught thousands of California firefighters how to mitigate incidents using lithium-ion batteries and solar. At this time, I have departments lined up all from north to south in California for this training. Looking at the video, I'm here today because somebody sent me the video to justify the C10. That will kill a firefighter. The misinformation in that video right now contradicts everything I'm training. with the firefighters. And I'm here to ask the board to pull that video right now, because when there is a line of duty death, and I don't have the time to go through the technical issues, what's going to happen when a firefighter takes the guidance from that video and dies in the line of duty? I will go to the NIOSH report, which is our incidents for line of duty deaths, and build the model and show that contradicts the information in that video. Some of the parts of that video say battery storage and solar are separate. I have to teach my incident action plans and for officers to understand it is one integrated unit. That is completely false. Lithium-ion batteries are more dangerous than lead-acid batteries. I am teaching the completely opposite to that. I went to OSHA to look for injuries so I can look at, when I've been a firefighter for 28 years, I have run on some horrific electrical injuries. And part of my class was to build in, what are you going to do when you run across an injury? I went to OSHA from 2014 to 2018. There has been no reported injuries with the C46, with thousands and thousands of installed applications. What I'm saying, the information in that video, I have spent 28 years as an American firefighter. I came here as an immigrant, a proud citizen. But my job is to protect the civilians through informed information. So when I pull up on a working fire, I have to make quick decisions to save people's lives. That information in that video is guiding firefighters to make bad decisions on what they're going to do to protect their crews and the civilians. I am saying to the record, pull that video. As I said, I will testify in court that these are completely wrong, and what they're trying to do is influence this. This has to be an informed decision because it's life and death. If I have a bad day in my office, I'm going to lose one of my young men and women, or I could lose a civilian. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jim Wilson. I'm Executive Director of the Los Angeles County Chapter in NECA. I'd like to thank the board for taking the time on this important issue. We've been representing contractors in Los Angeles County since 1938. I represent 300 contractors that employ 8,000 electricians. We do train on NFPA 70E. We are putting in lithium-ion systems to contradict that. We do have battery storage training going now around the country, so that's just a false statement. So we support number 3. It's not ideal, but I think we need to address this issue now to adopt number 3. As the state moves towards 100% renewable energy, as well as closing natural gas plants and the utilities curtailing power to avoid natural disaster, customers will rely more and more on energy storage. They're talking about 9,000 megawatts to improve the resiliency in the state. This is important. So let me ask this simple question. If California's regional and local grid are going to rely so much on this technology, why wouldn't the board want this work to be installed by a licensed contractor who must utilize trained and certified electricians? And I do take exception, there are electrical accidents with solar and batteries. That's just false. You've seen testimony from inspectors, fire officials, building officials, owners, seniors, environmental groups, utilities, legislators, and more all agree C10 licensed contractors should do this work. On the other side of this issue, you have a relatively small group of contractors who don't have the facts or experts. If you notice their video, no experts. So to make their point, they resort to misrepresentation, spin, alternative facts, and attempt to confuse and deflect. In a half-page alert from their association, their membership, there is at least 6 misrepresentations, starting with the headline, C46 General A&B licenses are a threat. This is not true. There's not been any discussion here about limiting A&B. This is just a fear tactic to stir people up. 2, the bulletin states this was a proposal by the IBW. This is also not true. I guess when you don't have the facts on your side, you round up the usual suspects. In this case, it's organized labor. This group knows that the issue centers on C10 contractors, which can be union or non-union. This is just another attempt for a fear attack and intentional misrepresentation. 3, the bulletin claims that solar and storage be severely restricted. More spin. Let's get into the facts. There are 32,303 C10s. There are only 425 C46, and of that, 449 also have a C10. So it's 32,000 versus less than 1,000. This is not going to stop this industry. 4, the bulletin states that this licensing reclassification was a motion by the IBW. This is wrong and an affront to the board. As you're well aware, each board member is appointed and serves with the goal of protecting public
Thank you,
safety.
sir. Your time
The
is up.
motions and actions and deliberations of the board are exclusively for this
Thank you,
purpose.
sir.
Thank you. I know what that means.
Hi, I'm Barry Cinnamon. I'm a C10 contractor and a C46 contractor and also a mechanical engineer. I thank the board, I thank David for such a fantastic report. It's very, very comprehensive. There's an enormous amount of information in there. Just let me give you a little bit of background about testing and certification that I've been through in my career as a solar and PV system installer. 2001, I started taking solar courses. A lot of those courses covered batteries. 2001, I took some electrical courses, 0 on batteries. 2002, I passed the C46 test. A lot of questions on batteries. 2002, I took the NABCEP training test. A lot of questions on batteries. Since then, I've taken many continuing education courses, including as an instructor. So that's going on for a while. Last year, I took the C10 test. I had 0 questions on batteries. In this CSLB report, the report itself states that the C46 test covers batteries in most detail. There's an abundance of materials in this report and videos about battery storage. I'm going to focus on the most popular consumer products. Those are the Tesla Energy Systems and the LG Chem battery in the back. And this is really important to everybody in this room, but I'm going to ask the board a rhetorical question. What would happen if you went to one of those batteries and dead shorted the terminals together? Does anybody know on the board what would happen if you did that? It's really important. What would happen? Does anybody know? Did you look at the videos? Does anybody in the back know that what would happen if you shorted the terminals on that Tesla or LG Chem battery?
Arc flash.
What? Nothing. Bingo. Absolutely nothing. I've got a video that I tested again this week. Short those terminals together. Guys were wearing proper protection. There wasn't even a spark. I don't understand where all the danger and hazards about these batteries are coming from. They're extremely safe. Every single battery that's being installed in the U.S. has to be tested to UL 1973 or UL 9540, every single one. So please make your decisions based on battery system facts, on the equipment that's being installed in consumers' homes. There's a lot of things in that home that are a hell of a lot more dangerous than a battery, whether it's inside or outside. You could shoot a nail through those batteries and the tests show that they won't burn. So well, these are the facts. These are the UL listed tests. So I urge the board to consider the real facts and the testing before you make your decisions. And I really appreciate all the time and effort that the board has put in and everybody else in the audience has put in on this very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, before you start, let me please ask the audience, if you have a comment, please use the appropriate form and come up to the podium. Please don't interrupt a speaker. I'm going to be holding them to the time, so you're taking some of their time. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you again, Alex Landsberg with the SF Electrical Construction Industry. I've got a couple of points I wanted to make on this topic. First of all, I wanted to offer you all some paper. On Tuesday, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors unanimously passed a resolution urging you to limit this work to C10 contractors because the city recognizes the importance of safety and skills in doing this work. And I have a copy of the resolution here. That's number one. Number two, this is really in a way addressing some of the points that Senator De León made in terms of workforce and what his goals in SB 350 were. You know, you take a look at studies of the demographics of the industry, both electrical construction as well as solar installation, and what you see, it's an incredibly diverse workforce. The differences being that on the electrical side, there's actually training, there's sustainable construction careers, there's actually a career ladder to get people not only employed but keep them working. It doesn't exist in on the solar side of things. And you can actually see that the way it plays out in labor market data from the state of California. Take a look at how many solar employers there are, or how many solar installers there are. Back in 2017, 2018, 3,900. As far as electricians, 63,000. So 20 to 1. It's really significant number disparity. And it's also interesting how this plays out in your own report about safety. You see solar installers who are outmatched in terms of contractors, in terms of workers, 20 to 1. Happen to have half of the injuries? That's quite disproportionate for an industry that has such a small slice of the market. More broadly, when Senator De León was talking about workforce and workforce investment, let's take a look at what else we need to be looking at. Recommendation number 3 recognizes that we're going to be building up this industry, growing this industry, especially as Governor Newsom's goals for more housing gets done. But there's a lot of recent research showing that we're going to need 200,000 more workers just to build the units that we need for the government, for the governor's goals. And these are blue-collar construction workers. And it's reasonable to look at how we're going to get them. Well, surprisingly, part of the reason why we need so many workers is because of the labor system that's very much similar to the solar installers. No training, no workforce development, no opportunities for career growth. So I want to end this with a little thought, and it's quite appropriate. We're talking about the green economy, really focusing on workforce and focusing on environmental goals. We get green.
Thank you, sir. Your
With
time is
2
up.
colors, and green without blue is just yellow. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your time. I want you to know that right off the bat, I am not a firefighter. I am an instructor. I wrote this stuff down because I'm an old man. I'm 64 today, and I haven't had anything to eat, and I've drank a lot of Monster, so let's see how this works out. All right. My name is C.J. Hamilton, and I train firefighters, police officers, and paramedics on electrical and solar safety. I've trained over 15,000 firefighters in cities across the United States. It includes Atlanta, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia, Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino County, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Michigan. And yes, in the last 2 years, I've trained over 1,000 firefighters in Hawaii. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. All right, so I'm here today to help California make it safer for firefighters when they encounter battery energy storage. I know and teach the risk of hazards of energy storage and PV, and they are completely 2 different systems. They are separate systems with completely different hazards. Firefighters can get hurt, injured, and killed with PV. Even small residential energy storage batteries can explode with something called arc flash, arc blast. And if you haven't heard of arc flash, arc blast moves at the speed of light, burns at 35,000 degrees, and blows up with enough power that equals 8 sticks of dynamite. If that's not dangerous, I don't know what is. That's the main thing that I teach in my classes. One of the keys to protecting firefighters is to make sure that energy storage systems are installed and maintained properly and safely. Just because a worker installs solar doesn't mean that worker has the skills and experience to safely install energy storage. In my opinion, only state certified electricians working for a C10 contractor can do this work. This can help save and protect workers and our public. I support the staff's recommendation to move to regulatory proceedings. I want to take one quick minute here. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a firefighter's funeral or not. Unfortunately, I have been to several. When that chief gives that widow that flag, it'll break your heart, I'll guarantee it. Okay? And the reason why it'll break your heart is because that firefighter is willing to give his life to save you and your family, all right? He's going to do that no matter what he has to go through. He's going to put his life first to make sure that your family is safe. He's going to make sure that your kids are safe. Today, you have the power to make sure that those firefighters are kept safe from getting hurt, injured, or killed. Please, don't turn your back on them today. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello, my name is Gary Gerber. I'm a mechanical engineer. I am a B licensed contractor 326203. That's a pretty early number. Been in business in solar specifically for over 42 years. I am also a C46 license holder, but I actually did a lot of my installations under the B over the years. I employ 70 well-trained, highly paid individuals as a C46, believe it or not. You know, we actually do run our businesses like businesses. We run them safe. We have highly professional, well-paid people working for us. That's the reality of the C46. I'm alarmed but not surprised by the video that I watched. I reviewed it and found no fewer than 30 inaccuracies and misrepresentations, far too many to even talk about at this meeting. But I strongly urge this board to discount that video. It just can't be trusted at all. And there are so many things wrong and stated incorrectly in that video that it can't be trusted. And if you make your decisions today based on what you see in that video, I'm afraid you're going to be making a poorly informed decision. One good example of something that's not even talked about here is that if this suggestion of relegating all storage work to the C10s goes through, you're going to basically disenfranchise all of my customers, of which I have thousands, who have yet to put in their storage systems and who we intend to put storage systems in and who have our very good 10-year warranty. I'm not going to be allowed to go back to my own customer under this rule and install their storage system. Someone else is going to come in and modify my solar system, and what is that going to do to my warranty? They're not going to want to warranty my system, and I'm not going to want to warranty it anymore either. So this has ramifications that are well beyond just the safety of the installation. It's about consumer protection, which is part of your mandate. Hey. I have nothing against C10s. I have nothing against, we work side by side with certified electricians. Usually when we're working side by side with them, we're doing the DC work, we're doing the solar and the storage work, and they're saying, we don't know anything about this stuff, you guys do that work. We make those arrangements constantly. We're working on PW jobs where we're on the roof doing the solar work, we're working on the storage system, and the electricians wisely say, we don't understand that stuff, we don't want to take on that work, we're not trained in it. They're not. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. I'm Michael Emmerich. I started a firm in 1975 called Solarponics, and my license number is 391670. I have a B, a C36, and a C46. And over the years, we've installed hundreds of on and off-grid solar systems. Right now, one of the jurisdictions we work in called the CSLB about their opinion whether a C46 should be able to install a battery backup system on their own work. And he was told no. So we have jobs we installed, and we have 30 battery systems that are sold that we can't put in because of, I think, misinformation. We have people who are NAPSAP certified. We have 8 people that have been to the Tesla trainings school and are certified to install Tesla batteries. Kind of disappointed that we've spent over 40 years creating a business that is based on service, quality, and safety. And we have an impeccable reputation if you check our area. My building inspectors will tell you we do good work. Anyway, I wish you to think about what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to speak and for staff for producing the excellent report. My name's John Berdner. I work with Enphase Energy. I'm a 35-year veteran of the solar energy industry. I guess I'm one of those so-called experts. I sit on NFPA Code Making Panel 4, which is Article 690 and 705, which governs solar. And I've been involved in code making at NFPA since the 1995 code cycle. I'm also the vice chair of IEEE 1547, which governs interconnection of PV systems and distributed energy resources, including storage, to the electric grid. I'm a founding and current member of the Standards Technical Panel for UL 1741, amongst others, which governs inverters in PV and storage systems. My main goal in speaking today is to make sure that the board is looking at the facts around energy storage. And having reviewed the video that was provided by the C10s, I find that it's grossly full of false and misleading statements. And these are based on my knowledge of the code, my knowledge of energy storage systems, my knowledge of inverters. One of the key things that are pointed out is the concern over arc flash. Well, we're also, Enphase is one of the largest manufacturers of residential energy storage systems in the world. We have more than 15,000 systems installed, primarily in Australia, and we have 0 incidents of any fires associated with these products. We were the first company to achieve the UL 9540 listing, and if you are 9540 listed, this flame spread issue that you see in this video will not occur. That's part of the testing that's required. What was shown in the video is a damaged enclosure with flame shooting out of it. That would never be installed. The arc flash that's shown there is for AC systems, clearly shown in the video. Though that AC arc flash hazard has nothing to do with energy storage. The fault currents for an AC coupled energy storage system are dictated by the inverter. They are tested and they are limited and they are controlled. So I would urge you to look carefully at the real facts and the real codes and standards that are associated with this issue and make a decision based on those facts, not on the facts that are shown in this
Thank you, sir.
video,
Your
which
time
is
is up.
designed to incite fear. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name's Jeff Spees. I appreciate the opportunity to comment this morning on this issue of vital importance to California and its residents. I'm the president of Planet Plansets, but I serve in a number of capacities in the industry. I serve as secretary for the industry certification organization known as NABCEP, and I am on the standard technical panel for UL 2703, which is the safety standard which establishes the safe working practices for rack-mounted PV systems. I also chaired, or the leader of the bonding and grounding task group for that standard. So I have a little bit of experience, one might say, when it comes to crafting safety standards in the solar industry. I also serve on the California Solar and Storage Association on the board, as well as chair of the Codes and Standards Committee, and I, of all the other things I do, I'm the executive producer of a documentary film about how the solar industry started called Solar Roots. So I've researched the roots of this industry extensively for years. Contrary to the claims of the IBEW and NECA and those that were behind the creation of this very flawed video, battery systems are not new. That's stated time and time again. In fact, in the documentary research I've done, there's common evidence that battery systems were in common use in rural homesteads throughout the United States starting in the 1930s. And when solar entered the home power sector in the 1980s, batteries were a core component. So to claim that they are two separate systems flies in the face of the historical facts that exist. Batteries have been paired with solar since solar photovoltaics debuted in the 1800s and especially in the 1950s when silicon solar cells were developed and made the technology feasible. KELSA's position is supported by numerous respected subject matter experts that are writing the codes, developing the safety standards, and training installers and firefighters. We've heard from several, like Don Hughes, like Captain Richard Burt, John Berdner, Bill Brooks, who sits on Code Making Panel 4, and numerous other individuals who back Kelsa's position that C46s are qualified to install solar and storage systems both. Nika and the group behind this video, IBEW, have misrepresented the dangers of solar and storage by showing dramatic video flashes from arc blast and arc flash, but those aren't AC power systems. They're not showing that on battery system equipment. I feel it's misrepresenting the arguments that they're making. The video is slick and expensive, but the speakers are clearly scripted, and you can see that they're reading from a teleprompter. Despite the misleading claims that battery systems are becoming more complicated, the truth is they're becoming less complicated. California recently implemented a requirement that all residential battery systems be listed to UL 9540, the safety standard that pertains to battery systems. There's extensive testing done to avoid the kind of problems that we've heard misrepresented by those that want to restrict this to C10s. So I would encourage that you get the facts and do not get them from this flawed video. They're also misrepresenting the word transform in the scope of work for C10 contractors, claiming that it referred to the ability
Thank you,
to
sir. Your
transform
time is up.
electricity. It's up? Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Todd Farhat. I'm with Sun Street Lennar. Lennar is one of the bigger builders in the state of California. We're pioneers in terms of installing solar on our homes. We do most of every new construction, every new home in California, we install solar on it. Just to give you an idea, we are anticipating roughly about 3,700 solar installation just in the SCE area. We do business in all of California and nationwide. I would like to thank the board, first of all, for taking the time to hear us. I would like to thank the board members, specifically Mike, for putting together this really nice package, very educational. And I would like to speak to what I know or what I am comfortable with. This proposal, if implemented, will negatively impact our storage business. Indeed, it might actually kill our storage business. At a time where we know that in order for us to continue doing business, in order for us to continue installing solar, specifically with a new mandate, we have to make it not only profitable for us, of course, but also for our customers. Installing only solar in the next few years with a new time of use and all the new tariffs is going to make it difficult for our customers to really see profit or see any advantage behind having solar without batteries. So batteries are very crucial for us in order for us to continue installing solar like we do. And with this, we most likely will not be able to explain profit for our customers, whether it's a PPA, lease, or straight out purchase. The question is why? Why do this now? I've read the package. I've also listened to a lot of the speakers. There's been no significant indication of any safety or quality compromise in storage. There has been no significant consumer complaints about storage. So why do it now? This will absolutely hurt the new home construction industry. It will hurt it for two reasons. One, it's going to limit the pool of qualified installers. And supply and demand is very simple. You have less installers, you're going to have higher cost. It will also impact it in terms of the cost. We are grappling right now in trying to explain.
Your time is up, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Eric Murphy.
Sir, before you get started, I really apologize. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. Some of us have to use the restroom. I apologize. I really do.
It's okay.
So please hold for 5 minutes.
I do too.